Well, you look just like you do on the back of the cover.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's good or bad.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this today.
This is a first for me. But
I hear that it's a first for you.
Yeah.
Why have you never done it before?
Well, I don't think it's good for your head. I mean, if you spend a lot of time thinking about how to write a book, you probably shouldn't be talking about it. You probably should be doing it.
Oh, really?
That's my feeling.
No, it's nothing against the press or the media or anything like that.
No,
Nothing like that.
No, you work your side of the street and I'll work mine.
That's how I feel about people, too. Cormac McCarthy is widely considered one of the greatest living American writers. Over the past 4 decades, McCarthy has written 10 novels. His bestseller, All the Pretty Horses, won the National Book Award and was made into a motion picture. Did you always know that you were a writer?
I think that's hard to say. When I was a kid, I used to write, and then when I became a teenager, I didn't do much of anything.
Are you passionate about writing? Now, today, when I speak to students, I tell them to try to follow your passion, because no matter what it pays you, if you're fulfilling what you're meant to do in life, that is the reward, that is the payment. Are you passionate?
I don't know. I passion. Passionate sounds like a pretty fancy word. Mm-hmm. I like what I do, and I suppose some writers have said in print that they hated writing. It was just a chore and a burden. I certainly don't feel that way about it. Sometimes it's difficult. You always have this image of the perfect thing, which you can never achieve, but which you never stop trying to achieve. But I think that at the core of it, there's this image that you have, this interior image of something that is absolutely perfect, and that's your signpost and your guide. You'll never get there, but without it, you won't get anywhere. When you start out to write a book, do you start out with that image? It's not so much a conscious thing, I don't think. It's just you always have that hope that today I'm going to do something better than I've ever done. There's the hope. How's that for hubris? That's good. So do you write methodically? Do you have a schedule? I've talked to many, many different writers over the years, and no. Or does it just come to you and you write it whenever it comes? Faulkner once was asked if he wrote every day or only when he was inspired, and he said, "I only write when I'm inspired, but I'm inspired every day." You have to take it seriously. You have to treat it as the work that you do. Mm-hmm. Some people say, "Do you plot everything out?" And I said, "No, that would be death. I mean, you can't plot things out. You just have to trust in, wherever it comes from." The Road recently received one of publishing's most prestigious awards, the 2007 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction. When you started The Road, did you know where it was going to end, or did it end itself? No, I had no idea where it was going. Where did this apocalyptic dream come from? Well, it's interesting because usually you don't know where a book comes from. It's just there, some kind of an itch that you can't quite scratch. My son John, about 4 years ago, he and I went to El Paso. He's 8 now. Yeah, and we checked into the old hotel there. And one night, John was asleep. It wasn't night. It was probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I went over and I just stood and looked out the window at this town. There was nothing moving, but I could hear the trains going through and that very, very lonesome sound. I just had this image of what this town might look like in 50 or 100 years. Mm-hmm. I just had this image of these fires up on the hill and everything being laid waste, and I thought a lot about my little boy. And so I wrote those pages, and that was the end of it. And then about 4 years later, I was in Ireland, and I woke up one morning and I realized that it wasn't 2 pages of another book. It was a book, and it was about that man and that little boy. The Road is dedicated to Cormac's 8-year-old son, John Francis. Is this a love story to your son? In a way, I suppose it is, although it's kind of embarrassing. I suppose it is, yeah. I just saw you blush. Yeah. But, no, it couldn't have been when I called you at first. You said, when I said people want to know where this book came from, you said, well, it's obvious. It came because my son practically co-wrote this book. Yeah. Had you not had this son at this time, this book wouldn't have been written. No, absolutely not. Never would have occurred to me to try to write a book about a father and a son.
What is it like being a father at this particular time in your life? How is it different than...
I think you appreciate it more. Yeah, if you're young and have a child, it's, yeah, so you got a kid, but to have a child when you're older is, it wrenches you up out of your nap and makes you look at things, afresh. It forces the world on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's a good thing.
Are we to ever know what actually happened? All kinds of critics and, fans of yours read all kinds of things into it. Some people say it's about the journey of man on earth. It's about a man's, spiritual journey here on earth. Is that true, or is it just about the man and the boy on the road?
I like to think it's just about the boy and the man on the road, but obviously you can draw, conclusions about all sorts of things from reading the book, depending on your taste. It's a pretty simple, straightforward story, I think.
It's so interesting. I think if we had read this book of 25 years ago, 20 years ago, it would have seemed futuristic. But something about it feels ominous and real.
I think it is. Maybe since 9/11, people are more concerned about apocalyptic issues. Mm-hmm. We're not used to.
Well, I was going to say we're not accustomed to.
We're not used to that.
Mm-hmm. Not accustomed to living in fear.
No.
Being anxious about what's going to happen.
Yeah, we've
tomorrow.
had it pretty good. Mm-hmm. This country has been very lucky, just like me.
So that now it's on people's minds, and when you were writing it, obviously it was on your mind.
Yeah.
What do you want us to get from this book in particular?
It would be just simply care about things and people, and be more appreciative. Life is pretty damn good, even when it looks bad, and we should appreciate it more. We should be grateful. I don't know who to be grateful to, but you should be thankful for what you have.
You haven't worked out the God thing or not yet?
Well, so it would depend on what day you ask me, But sometimes it's good to pray. I don't think you have to have a clear idea of who or what God is in order to pray. You could even be quite doubtful about the whole business.
Do you care if now millions of people are reading your books versus when there were only a few thousand reading your books in the early years?
In all honesty, I have to say that I really don't. I just don't. I mean, you would like for the people that would appreciate the book to read it, but as far as many people reading it, so what? I mean, what? It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, it's not going to particularly brighten my day.
Well, you are a different kind of author, let me tell you. It's such a pleasure to meet you. An honor to have this interview.
You're very nice.
Really, an honor. Yeah. You are a different kind of author. That's good. Read it if you want to. If you don't, it's okay. That's great.
Yeah.